Welcome, listeners, and welcome, viewers, to today's episode of the Rubber Band Vodcast and Podcast, where I am joined by special guest Adam Walker from Avature for a demo of Avature. Now, before we begin, hello. We're going to start again. Sorry, I got tongue-tied. Okay. 3, 2, 1. Welcome, listeners, and welcome, viewers, to today's episode of the Rubber Band Vodcast and Podcast, where I am joined by Adam Walker from Avature for a demo of Avature.
Hi, mate.
Hi. Now, before we begin, Adam, and listeners and viewers, I would like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land that I live and work on, the Wadawurrung and Dja Dja Wurrung people. I recognise their continuing connection to the land and waterways. I pay my respects to their elders past, present and emerging, and I would like to extend this to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people. Adam Walker, how you doing?
Very well, thank you, mate. It's not quite the sunny weather that we were used to when we caught up earlier in the week, but good to be inside for this one.
I know, and bumped into you twice on nice sunny days. Once at Fed Square, once in Richmond. I don't know, we were destined to catch up today, I think. Well, the universe was pushing us together. But look, I'm excited to talk Avature, right? Like, I'm really grateful you've taken the time to catch up with me today and to share this with the audience. But before we go into that, mate, what's happening in your world? You're a busy man, as always. What's going on in Adam Walker's world?
Yeah, we've. I think all the if we pause the work stuff, all the important things for life for me are great. So the kids, the family, and the stuff that's really important. And then on the work front, we've been lucky to have some great clients come on board, which of course means a lot more work. We're doing a lot more probably in broader Southeast Asia than what we were 2 years gone by. Some of the markets maturing there where they're kind of looking for best of breed now. Or the HR teams and talent teams are looking for a function that does, or capability does get them access to better talent, or just the demands of business out there. Of course, I'm no macroeconomist, as you well know, but there's just a lot of growth across the region, which is helping fuel that as well.
Fantastic. Well, let's talk about it. Let's talk about Avature. So for those, I think most people know who you are. So we've covered that off.
There's not the full better expletives associated with walks that you can't put on a production, so we'll skip off how it normally comes in.
I know, right? Anything that happens in the talent world, you're one of the stars, right? So, but maybe there are people out there that don't know Avature, and that's what today's all about. So let's start there. Like, what is Avature?
Yeah, thanks, mate. You're right. It's I guess when you do it day in, day out, and in fact, I've had conversations with mates of mine in the last couple of years even and talking about, let's call it talent platforms. So, Avature is I guess, best of breed. Everybody's going to tell you that, but it kind of is talent acquisition and talent management platform predominantly. So started way back in 2008 with, as far as I'm aware, probably the first product that went to market with CRM, but candidate relationship management, not obviously customer. So that's a long time ago. And back then it was kind of quite innovative because all these big ERPs and, don't need to explain this to most of your listeners, but one of the difficulties for a lot of the big platforms that are part of a HRIS in terms of their recruiting module or, talent management modules is that they're part of an ERP, enterprise resource planning tool. So they're good at thinking like the enterprise, but they're not good at taking that 180-degree leap and look and think of the world from the talent themselves. And we all know in our industry, 20 years gone by, we needed to be able to do that, right? To think like the talent that we're trying to engage with. These days it's all about me. So we've been trained to be selfish by marketing and other tools. I guess we did that way back in 2008. So the suite of products, if you like, is essentially talent acquisition and talent management. So ATS, CRM, onboarding, all those sorts of things. And then the last 7 or 8 years, performance management, succession planning, internal mobility, as you can imagine, is all these internal marketplaces kind of flavor of the last couple of years. And we've been very busy on that side as well. And then we keep developing. So, we've got some client need on workforce planning, which we've developed, some on things like ticketing type systems for some of our big global clients as well. But yeah, essentially that TA and TM suite.
And I think, from my perspective, I think Avature is playing in the space in terms of the future of, I suppose, what were historically talent acquisition leaders like myself. I mean, I was quite fortunate in, 2 roles ago when I was at Flybuys that I was looking after talent management, but that was a first for me. And what we're seeing is this trend is happening more and more, particularly after COVID when things got a little bit lean. And I feel the capability and the skill set that talent leaders are bringing to the table and talent teams are bringing to the table is now looking at that all-encompassing view of talent. And you talk about the talent marketplaces that are out there. Some of them, some of them, great, right? Like there's a real mixed bag. But what I love is then you've also got the workforce planning. And in my role at Movember, it is looking after the entire life cycle of talent, from workforce planning through to recruitment and onboarding, through to mobility, then through to succession and talent management, and looking at, role criticality, flight risk, succession, all of that kind of stuff. And I think that's the future in terms of where we're heading. I remember in roles prior to Flybuys where, that would be looked after in the OD team and they would look after it in a PowerPoint and all of those kind of things, right? But we didn't have that holistic view of talent. And that's really the future of our industry. So having Avature as a platform that can support that is really powerful. Is that what you're noticing out there in the market?
Yeah, I mean, it varies massively. And, we chatted a bit off air prior. Some of the bigger organizations, and I've seen some of the best talent leaders and in our industry, it's taken 10 years to get to the point of, and in my consulting days, Deloitte, I'd go into an organization and quite often you lift the hood. Invariably, it's broken or done very poorly. And you sort of scratch your head going, you're doing what? This is how you're building your most essential asset, i.e. your people, and you're doing it through this way. And, to your point around that whole total talent, so not just in TA and TM, so employee or talent life cycle, but also increasingly now, particularly the last couple of years, it can't just be about, oh, no, I only hire FTE. So some organizations that are more contemporary are thinking, how many people do we have around there masquerading as an SOW that are really just body hire through an agency or something else as well? What's the risk exposure to that? So that real total talent view. So we are seeing some organizations and clients evolve to that state. However, every client has a different set of existing technologies, contracts already in place, ecosystems, politics, behaviors, attitudes, egos, So, I think one of the things that I often get involved with very heavily is, Eden, you tell me what you can and can't do. You might say, I want everything, but we know you can't buy it day one. That's okay. Yeah. I think the system also needs to be flexible enough and malleable enough to be able to mold to a time and a place that then often we go on a journey with our clients, and that can be over a lot of years.
And we've got, there are a lot of thought leaders in the industry globally that are talking about, talent marketplaces and total talent. Why Avature? Like, where do you stand out and where do you play? Like, why should, talent leaders be investigating Avature as that tool that can support teams looking at total talent?
Yeah, I think there is an advantage to, we take a one platform approach. So my boss is the owner, founder, CEO. Dimitri is a tech head. He won't mind me saying that because he describes it as an engineering business. And he's very passionate about it. So everything's built in the one code, and that's intentional by design. So, if I take my Avature hat off and try not to be too salesy about it, if I was at Deloitte and you'd say, well, tell me about Avature versus, something else that's a cheaper, off-the-shelf sort of product sort of thing. And these sorts of clients that do well with us are big enough, complex enough. They need the complexity of configuration. So Josh Burston said before as well, it's probably the most configurable And the difference between configuration and customization, configurable talent platform in the market, which is great. And I would probably echo that. So organizations that, are big and ugly and complex and have different demands and things like multi-workflows, multi-differences of workforce, different ways they want to engage with different segments of their workforce, whether that's geographical, languages, contractors versus permanent versus executive versus grads, etc. And also not just those that are big and ugly and complex, but also those that really value talent. So we have some small clients. For us, there might only be 600, 700, 800 people, probably some of our smallest clients, but they'll use maybe only our CRM module just to do that nurturing with a lot of automation, of course, because they know that if they get one more, cybersecurity expert because they've built that relationship long term, the system's paid for itself 3 times over and improves their brand, all that stuff we know of. So they're the sort of clients that do well.
Fantastic. Well, look, I think I'm going to make your life a little bit easier here, Adam, because I know you're the guy that's out there and you're showing the demos and you're trying to say let's just demo it to 1,000 people, right? Let's do it. So I'd love to see it in action. Like I'm familiar with Avature, and even myself, seeing this deeper demo is going to be really powerful for me as well. So I'm going to be sitting back and enjoying it. You sit back and crack open a beer because you won't need to do too much business development for the next couple of weeks because I'm doing it for you here by showing everyone. So let's go over to Avature and let's see this in action. Let's see what it's all about. Let's do a demo and then we'll regroup, Adam, because I might have some questions for you. Awesome. Let's do it. Thanks, mate.
Hello everyone, my name is Daniela and I will guide you through this AI demo. Please, if you have any questions, feel free to interrupt me or use the chat below. In this demo, we will go through our AI features for the candidate and the recruiter experience. Note that we have some roadmap features. I will let you know which ones they are as we go through the demo. So let's begin with the candidate experience. I will show you AI features on our boutique career marketing site and how they are boosting the experience. So here we are at the portal app of Boutique. Boutique is our mock company for demo purposes. In this portal app, you will see recommendations to jobs, events, or content based on multiple attributes, such as the visitor browsing history, based on the resume, or even based on the candidate's preferences. As a candidate, there are multiple ways to find my fit at Boutique. I can use, for example, the live search. This is a Google-like experience. Let me show you. For example, if I start typing Finn, I will get type-ahead suggestions, as you might see. But notice that I'm not only receiving suggestions with the word I'm typing. I get other jobs as well, because the AI is scanning the job description, which contains this word. Let's see another option, the recommendations based on work experience. So to use this option, I will need a CV. I will use this one that I just prepared. As you might see, we have here my name and my last name, also relevant information. And we will have work experience, which contains mostly finance experience just for this demo purpose. Let's go back to our application and click on Get Recommendations. I will just select the CV I just showed you and click on Continue. So the matching is based on the profile information. Using machine learning, we create semantic representations between the candidate and the job to compare them and see how similar they are to each other. But there is a challenge. The job titles are unlimited. For instance, at Avature, we call a team that supports sales engineering, but other companies may call it pre-sales or sales consultants. So the only way to deal with the challenge of unlimited job titles is to understand what they really mean and how they are compared to other job titles. The challenge at Avature is solved since we use algorithm that works even if it gets a never seen before job title. So here we can see that based on my CV, we have some best matches for job positions, and we also have a great match and a good match. Moving forward on the application process, let's take a look at this job position, the Senior Financial Analyst. Here we can see the general information of the position. We can see also a description and the requirements, and we can also see based on a map the location of this position. Here, if we scroll a bit more down, we can see some similar jobs. The system matches jobs based on custom criteria that can be defined by the client, for example, based on the department or on the office location. Let's move on and click on the Apply button. So as you might see, apart from our CV, we can use different social profiles to apply as well. We can use, for example, LinkedIn. Let's try it out and see how the information is parsed into the data model. Let me quickly put my password and we will just sign in. So, as you might see, the information has been parsed into the data model, including the contact information, the work experience. We also have the education history. We can also see that the skills were parsed into the system. In line with our white box approach, we can add and remove the skills easily. If I click on the X, I can just delete it and I can search for other skills. Let's see for finance, corporate finance. So as you might see, this is super easy to add them and to remove them. The skills are part of our skills ontology, which contains more than 6,000 skills. So to move on, we will need to create an account. Let me just put a password. And we will need to acknowledge the terms of use and the privacy policy. So now we can see here we have a questionnaire and we will go to the job-specific questions just by clicking on continue. Both can be tailored to the client needs as well. We will just click on submit. Here we can see a thank you message and also the option to see the application process by clicking here on the job. And based on our job application we just submitted, we are prompted again with similar jobs. Going back to the home page of Boutique, we can see how this has changed. So you might see here the layout is different since it has been tailored to my profile to have even a better experience. We can see here I'm logged in as Daniela Haas. This is based on the profile that we just created. And here we can see some more recommendations based on my work experience and my skills. Also, if I click on open positions, we will see how, again, the system recommends jobs based on my browsing history. So this will be mostly finance since I looked for a job as a finance analyst and the profile I showed you was based on finance experience as well. Let me show you another powerful AI feature, the Avature AI-powered chatbot. This will initially enhance your career site experience by answering frequently asked questions and assisting candidates with job search. As we click on it, the chatbot pops up. As you can see, it has extensive branding capabilities. allowing you to customize options such as the name, for example, the image, where you can place your logo or an avatar, and the theme color to reflect your brand's identity. It is important to highlight that our chatbot is built on a conversational model and powered by cutting-edge semantic technology, going beyond traditional workflow-based chatbots, which provide a limited amount of options to choose from, just like a call center. Our chatbot can understand context and respond to candidates in a human-like manner, providing a more engaging and personalized experience. Avature chatbot associates user queries with specific topics. Technically, these are called intents. That is able to talk about, for example, the company values or the benefits offered. This enables accurate and relevant responses and ensures that candidates receive meaningful interactions, fostering a deeper connection with your brand. I'm going to go through some use cases of the chatbot, but keep in mind that this is an ever-evolving process, and we will continue speaking with you to see what you need the chatbot functionality to offer. So let's start asking some questions. I will ask the languages the chatbot speaks. Here we see that the chatbot can speak both English and French. Let's ask another question. What can you do? The chatbot will tell us how it can deliver answers about the company and give job recommendations. Let's see what else we can ask. What is Boutique all about? So the chatbot can answer frequently asked questions about the company, the values, and the culture. Let's ask another question like, what benefits do you offer? We can see how the chatbot replies with a list of the different benefits at Boutique. Let's ask another question with another topic, like, for example, the PTO policy. So you can see we can ask any question about company culture, office locations, remote work, and the PTO policy. Let's ask how the hiring process is at Boutique. So the chatbot offers a guide through a typical application process so that the candidate can have more information about this topic. And let's ask, why should I apply at Boutique? So here we can see the answer. This is in order to attract a talent. So each intent corresponds to a topic, allowing the chatbot to provide a range of randomized responses. To ensure it is always fully aligned with your brand, you can choose multiple valid responses per inquiry. Control is 100% on your site. Let's see if I ask for a marketing job recommendation. So as you can see, it can provide job recommendations. Upon entering any job title, the chatbot provides candidates with links of matching jobs. Also, we should point out that when setting up the chatbot, you can choose between traditional key-based search or our unique smart search, ensuring more accurate job matches. The smart search uses our advanced AI matching model that leverages semantic technology so that the chatbot will retrieve relevant results even if there is no keyword match between the search and the result. Let's try an example. I will ask for a brand manager position. So we can see here that given the keyword brand manager, the chatbot will offer positions related to marketing because it understands that it is a relevant result for the search. Let's click on any of these job recommendations, like the marketing director. So as we click on the recommendation, this leads us directly to the job description, where we can see all kinds of detail of the position and apply directly to it. The matching model used in the Smart Search also supports cross-language matching that delivers relevant opportunities in all the languages supported by the model. As you can see, Avature Chatbot is always ready to assist candidates whenever they need it, facilitating uninterrupted engagement and enhancing user experience, making them able to effortlessly transition from browsing to interacting with the chatbot for a fully cohesive journey. Now, let's move on to another AI feature. This AI feature is the Intelligent Knowledge Base. This tool is a generative AI that will use a database on the organization data you feed it. So users will be able to ask the knowledge base questions, and it will generate responses based on that database we train it on, allowing organizations to use this for a wide range of use cases like frequently asked questions and trainings. Now, let's imagine we are a new hire and we are in the internal talent marketplace. We need help answering some questions. We are here at Boutique, our demo company, and we have made a Start Chat button to access our intelligent knowledge base. So this link took us to the knowledge base where we can now ask the Boutique assistant some questions. I'm a new hire, so let's ask questions like, for example, how my first week will be at Boutique or how my performance will be evaluated. The knowledge base will generate responses for us and even present the source documents. Let's move on and take a look into another AI tool. In this case, we will look at the skill suggestions. We are now back in our career marketplace, and in this case, we are looking to apply to a job as our candidate, Sophie Parker. I already uploaded my resume and I'm happy with the suggestions that are provided. So let's click into the front-end developer role and get started. After reviewing all the information, the description and the requirements, I can click on Apply Now to start the process. As you know, once we submitted our resume or our profile through social media, the system will parse through all of the information that we have chosen to capture in this application, including my candidate skills. In line with our white box approach to AI, Sophie has full visibility and control of all of the skills that the parser has identified, and she can choose to remove or add any of the skills. What you will see now below are the suggested skills. These skills are based on the skill set that the candidate already has. From the suggested skills, I will add this one, and I will add also the web services. You are going to notice that the suggestions will adapt to display additional skills she is now considering. So this tool is really helping Sophie identifying skills that she may have initially overlooked while building her resume, allowing her to build the most comprehensive candidate profile possible. Let's transition to see how this could look like for an internal use case. We are now looking at the internal talent marketplace as one of the employees, Phil. If Phil would like to edit the skills on his profile, he can go into the My Skills section. From here, just like we saw in the application, we can see the suggested skills. But what is new? There is an additional level added to them, the proficiency. With this feature, I will now be able to self-identify my proficiency for each of the skills that I have in my profile. So let's say that I just completed a new project and I feel that I improved my ability as a content writer. I can go into my profile and update that. I now think that I'm at the level 4 for this skill and the proficiency. So let's just drag the button to the number 4. Like I did with Sophie, I can also come here to add to my skills using the keyword search or the suggested skills that the system is determining based on my current skill set. So let's add the digital strategy to my profile. And I can now select the proficiency for this new skill as well. You have just seen how this would look like from the employee's perspective, where they self-report. But this is also something that could be embedded into your performance reviews, or in a phone screen by a recruiter, or, for example, be completed by a manager, which would also allow us to incorporate skills validation. So we finished with the candidate experience. Before moving on to the recruiter experience in this AI demo, I wanted to know if there are any questions. If not, let's just move on to the next experience. So to start with this experience, I'm logged in as a recruiter at the core application of Boutique. I'm the recruiter, Tom. So let's see how Avature's AI can help him. Let's imagine that I have all of these open requisitions. We can see that they all have the job title and the description filled in. But we want Avature's AI to help us to complete the skills field. So I can parse the skills. I just need to select all of the requisitions by clicking on the checkbox above, and I can go to the actions and see the drop-down menu and select Parse Skills. Here we need to define how the skills should be parsed to the job record. We can add existing skills or we can replace existing skills. Today, I want to replace them, so I will select this option and just click on Parse. So as you can see, the skills column has already some values, but just take a look at the job itself and see how the skills were parsed. If we go to the record data and go below to the skills, we can see that some skills were added, like, for example, the security, the cybersecurity, the presentation, or the training. And this all was parsed from the information that was already given to this job description. Let's see another AI tool. We want to leverage Avature's AI to extract the candidate skills from the attached CVs. So let's open my talent rediscovery list so we can take a look at this tool as well. So in this list, we have different columns, for example, with the name and the picture of the candidate, the position title, the employer, and the skills. What we can see here is that we have, for example, Matthew McDonald without any skill. Also, Brad Smith, the same. We have other candidates with some of the skills, but we want to see if Avature's AI can recognize other skills from the CVs that the candidates attached to. So we will just select all the candidates. We will click on Actions to see the drop-down menu. And as we did with the requisitions, we will click on Parse Skills. We have again these two options. But in this case, we're going to select the option Add to Existing Skills. This is in case there were any manually selected already. Let's just click on Parse. And as you might see, both candidates that didn't have any skills on this list has now a lot of them because they were parsed directly from the CV that they uploaded. So we can see here, for example, at Matthews, the human resources, leadership, SAP, and so on. For Brad, we have some other skills, physics, business process, reengineering, and also for the other candidates, we have more skills parsed from the CV. Let's now check out how the system can leverage AI to recommend candidates to the recruiter. This functionality will use AI to suggest existing candidates from our database that are relevant for our open requisition. So, as you can see, I have my cybersecurity position that I need to fill. We can see that there's people linked already, but not as many as we would like. I would love to leverage our database that is full of silver medalists and people in talent pools. Going through all the records I have in the system is virtually impossible. We have too many candidates. But it's way easier for a computer to do it for me. So that's exactly what we will do by clicking on the Recommendations tab. As you can see, the AI has scanned the database and presented back the most relevant results according to their work experience. We have candidates ranging from 100% all the way down to 60%. The AI matching score is using the semantic technology. This score is based on how close the job title is compared to the candidate's CV. This includes the current job title and the past experience. Now that we have looked at the recommendations, let's see how you will also have more control. Let's click on the three dots and just open the list. As you can see here, we have now the list based on the AI candidate recommendations. We can also edit this list by clicking on the pencil here. Now, as you can see here, we can edit all the criteria from the list. But now I want to show you the matching. From here, we have the option to adjust the matching criteria that the algorithm uses. In this case, the job title attribute has a much higher weight than the skills, since it is a technical job where work experience matters. But we are going to invert the ratio and see how the results change. Maybe it brings up results that we would not have considered otherwise. So let's put this down to 20% and let's change the weight of the skills to 80%. Oops. And we will just click on Save. The candidates in this list better match the skills requirements of my job. Job titles are not as similar to cybersecurity as they used to before we adjust the matching criteria. Not only does this give visibility, but also gives recruiters control over the AI functionality. You are probably wondering if we can use the matching algorithm to help rank candidates that are already linked to a job. And the answer is yes, we can. And we call it AI-powered applicant ranking. So I will open the cybersecurity developer requisition. And let's say that some time has passed since I last opened this folder record. In the Linked People tab, I can see that I have 27 new candidates. What I need to do is to identify which of those applicants are possible good fits for this position. This is a tough thing to do because there are too many applicants, and I don't know where to start. Well, that's where the AI algorithm can help you out. If I click under the particular step New Candidates and click on Met Minimum Requirements, we can see the score of these new candidates. So just like that, the system has ranked all the candidates on that step using the same technology we mentioned before. Next, the recruiter will just have to make the decision as to who moved to the next step on the workflow. There is another great way to find qualified candidates, the person-to-person matching. I'm going to go to the linked people section and check out the candidate that is on the interviewing step. So Susan is a great candidate, so I would like to find more like her. First, I will go to her person record. There is a similar people tab. If I click here, I can see all the candidates that match Susan's profile, and as a result could be a great fit for the cybersecurity developer job. We can see details such as the position title, the employer, and the source, along with the matching score. I can click on Sonia, for example, review her profile, and from here I could link her to the job. That is the person-to-person matching in action. The next feature is recommended jobs in the core app. So I'm going to open the new referred leads. This is a people list. I can see here the candidate name, the position title, and employer. I can also review their resume, and I can click on each of the candidates to find out more about them. So let's try out with Harry. Here I am on Harry's person record. Notice the recommended job tab. This tab provides AI-driven job recommendations based on Harry's work history and skills. I can see the position title, the department, and the hiring manager, along with the matching score. If I click on one of the matching score, it reveals a breakdown. Let's take a look. I can see the weighting for each criteria and how the system has turned that into one clean overall matching score. In this case, we have a 94% of the profile from Harry for the UI developer. We can also take this a step further and understand where each matching score is coming from. Harry's position title perfectly aligns with the UI developer requisition. Avature also performed a skill-by-skill analysis, highlighting where Harry matches partially or maybe is missing some skills that are required for this job position. Let's now see the job-to-job matching in action. For that, I will go to my pinned pages and open the Data Analyst job record. As you might see, it is currently in draft. You will notice a new tab, the tab of similar jobs. Here, the Avature's AI scanned the database and presented similar jobs based on the description and the department. Here we can see the department is engineering, and we can see here the description of this job position. Let's now take a look at the similar job for data analytics specialist. Here we can understand the candidate profiles considered and their sources. This historical data provides valuable intelligence and serves as a solid starting point for my new requisition. Let's take a look to another AI feature, the semantic search. We usually see the existing database as the best way to start a search, as most companies sit on a goldmine of hidden talent already, like silver medalists, amazing candidates linked to our pipelines, and so on. Thanks to the extensive use of deep learning algorithm, our semantic search engine understands what users are looking for and expands the search in a smart way by adding synonyms and related terms. So let's start with our advanced search as Lina, our sourcer for boutique. So Lina is looking for a Java developer with also a skill for C++. So we will start typing Java, and as you can see, suggestions will appear. This is a Google-like experience like we saw in the quick search for the candidate experience. So let's select Java developer. We will choose the Boolean and start writing C++. So we have suggestions again. Let's just select the C++ and we will click on search. You can see the semantic suggestions appear next to our search results. Let's select, for example, Senior Java Developer and Software Engineer. In line with our white box approach, we can select and unselect these suggestions as well. So finding candidates efficiently requires recruiters to have industry-specific knowledge that takes years to build on the job. As you can see, Avature semantic search reduces the need for recruiters to have this deep and specialized knowledge by providing us with a variety of suggested terms related to the search we made that can help us expand our search even more. Now, let's assume we want to narrow down our search to candidates in a specific region. We will click again on the search box and we will select our Boolean and we will select here a city and start writing Miami, for example. Here again, we have the suggestions. We will click Miami and we will click on search. Now, we have created a very specific search in just a couple of seconds. We can start engaging with the candidates by selecting them and take some actions, like, for example, send them a personalized email. As you can see, I'm back at the job record for the data analyst to show you our last AI feature, the job description writing assistant. So let's say I finished drafting the job description. I can now use Avature's job description writing assistant to optimize it. Let me show you how this works. I click on this icon lets Avature's AI assess my job description. While the quality score says it's good, I aim for greatness. I don't want to miss any potential candidates. So if we click on good, I will see my overall score and a detail of what I'm missing on the description. In orange, we can see the sections that need revision. And as I click on it, I will get a suggestion directly from the AI. A click on the check mark seamlessly autocorrects them, making my job posting diverse and comprehensive. The score now stands for great, indicating that we are ready to post. This is all for our AI demo. I wanted to know if you have any questions about any of the experience, candidate or recruiter. Thank you very much.
Well, welcome back, Adam. On a bit of I'm a bit of a talent platform geek, so I'm still nerding out about that. That was an awesome demo, right? Like, I want to know a little bit more. Like, why do you think It's so powerful. Why do you think this is working for some of that? You talk about some of those more complex businesses. You even described some of them as, the big bag and the ugly, right? Because things can get really complex and really messy, and you've got dispersed workforce, you've got multi-region, you've got contingent workers, you've got these MSO. Like, it's a big beast, and look, I don't know any talent leader who can get their head around it themselves, right? So, why is this working so well for them?
Yeah, I think some of the premises that sort of resonate with me around the platform from a philosophical standpoint in what a SaaS, software as a service system, should do. We take a strong belief that the system should mold to the organization, not the other way around, which again is why, candidly, we're not great for someone who's 100 people and only ever been operating on spreadsheets, because you don't need all of Avature. But when you do need the ability to configure and change things to match the way your entire business operates or the way you want to engage with talent, that's great. The other thing that I think is where we're seeing a lot of our successful clients work is that change is the only constant, and it's probably increasing. So, from an economic point of view and talent demand, I don't think I've seen such high peaks and low troughs in more than the last couple of years, even post-COVID. But then also they're getting close together. So change is happening so quickly that I think, again, philosophically, we like to put the power in our users' hands. So it's not just when we help you implement and you configure all the things for the way you want the platform to work, but invariably we have a lot of our quite sophisticated clients, big and small, going, hang on, geez, here we go, change has happened again. Oh, crap, I've now got to mold because something else has happened. But you can do that on the fly, and that is very much built into the platform, which means you can keep up with the varying demands in talent and economics and markets and whatever else, without having to go back and put your hand in your pocket and say, I need to pay consultant XYZ to reconfigure, or with all due respect, some of the big guys, of course, you simply can't reconfigure as easily. So I think that's where we've helped our clients adapt more quickly.
And in terms of, setup and implementation, can we take that modular approach? I know, some people are like, I know exactly what I want to do from a CRM perspective. I know what I want to do from an outreach perspective, talent acquisition perspective, onboarding perspective. Still playing around with succession at the moment, and there's still a few questions and a few people want to put their 2 cents worth in, and I haven't quite landed it. Can we take that approach?
Yeah, very much. And again, intentional by design, because everyone has different starting point, different systems, and as you said, politics, egos, etc. going on. So quite often a client will say, look, you know what, we're on X. We have to keep the core, maybe it's even the recruiting platform, but the CRM's a real gap. We've got the business case. And we've got some great examples of some big clients that over the years then, they get 18 months in, they said, well, geez, actually, this CRM's worked pretty well. We can now build a bigger business case in our own data. It's not just Walks trying to flog me a bit of software. I can prove it internally in terms of benefit. And then they might roll out, things like, I don't know, ATS or onboarding or succession or internal mobility. And again, that's fine because it's not as easy. I mean, I've certainly failed when I've been in a big TA role saying, I wanted X. I probably only got about this much of what I wanted. And that's the reality. Over time, I think we've got to go on the journey with our clients as well.
Yeah, I want to ask you about mobility, because I always find this surprising. So you've got ATS and then you've got, talent teams. Who doesn't look after mobility? And if a talent team doesn't look after mobility, who does? I don't understand it.
It's interesting. Like, as I said, we in the consulting days, I'd go in and you'd say, so you're doing some talent pooling. You say, yeah, we started to do talent pooling. That's great. And then, as you said, you speak to typically OD back in the day or someone else in TM saying, so you're doing succession planning? Oh, yeah, we are. Oh, so how do those two map to each other? Oh, they don't. Like, the most ridiculously basic construct. Like, surely your reds and ambers are directly mapped to how much you're looking for, talent mapping externally, but they don't. So it just varies massively by client. But, we have some clients still that are using Avature, and it can be all in the one database. That's, again, intentional by design. In theory, in a perfect world, if you and I had our way in another big TA head role, it would be everything's in the one, end-to-end life cycle. You can see all your gaps. You can see all the touch points. You can measure your ROI at any one point, and that's great. In reality, they're still often operating slightly different silos, or other big businesses just operate in different ways around the world, right? The EMEA doesn't talk to APAC, doesn't talk to North America sometimes, or they do, but of course they operate off even different systems. Again, that's okay. I think that's where the modular nature and being able to sort of solution with our clients certainly helps with where we can solve a problem.
Yeah, and see, I like this, and that's the reason why I asked that question, right? Because you've got in organizations that it's not sitting in talent like it is with myself, right?
Yeah.
So it could be sitting within business partnering, it could be sitting in OD, and that's okay. You don't need to, if you can't tackle that at the moment, and that's not a change that, is in the near future, but still having Avature and having that visibility, because you have the OD team using it, or the business partnering team use it, and the talent team use it. So you still have that collective view of talent, regardless of whether you own it. And I think that's what's important.
At a certain level, you want to be able to have that visibility, ideally. I mean, again, not organisations do, but sometimes, we've got some great colleagues in our industry who had to work hard. They started as TA or what was just recruiting, and then they had to sort of prove themselves within the business, prove the value, and then they eventually then have that, that full talent life cycle under their umbrella. But that can take years.
Totally.
Other organisations just aren't set up to do that. Now they're set up in totally different structures or ways of operating models. That's cool as well. And again, that's why not one size ever fits all.
Yeah. And it's, as I said earlier in our conversation, this is where our roles are moving to. And that's not going to happen overnight for everyone, right? But the first step is to seek that knowledge and that understanding and to have the visibility.
Yep.
Agreed. And to learn. And that's where that can work. So I think, my advice for any talent leader, or even just, any talent partner out there is, is to see it. And that's where Avature plays a really big part in this, because you can then work with either your OD team or your business partnering team as step one. I want to learn about this and I want to see how it works. And then, to your point, you can tap away at that and you can build your knowledge and your expertise, build your capability and build your trust that it will become part of your role and you'll be doing it.
Yeah, so, I think you make a good point. You can't measure what you can't see and you can't impact what you can't see. So I think 100%. And sometimes we start, as I say, with certain clients, and that has to be via integration in the first instance. Again, that's fine. I mean, everything, quite often we end up phasing over quite a journey with our clients because their sophistication grows as well. It's funny, when you start to measure stuff, when you start to get better data and you get better insights, then you get more of an appetite for better insights and data, and your ability as a TA leader or talent leader to go back to the board saying, oh, look what I've done. And it shifted the need of the business, not just time and cost are high, but actually I can prove that our sales teams are now 5% more effective than they were 12 months ago. Yeah, that's fantastic. That's where you really have an impact.
Absolutely. Well, I think it's fabulous, Walks. And
thank you,
mate, thanks for catching up and thanks for sharing this demo with the Rubber Band community and our listeners and our viewers. And I can't wait to, I'll bump into you somewhere and I'm sure you'll have a beer in hand or, just enjoying the Melbourne summer. So I look forward to catching up with you again really soon. Really appreciate it. And thank you, Team Avature. This has been really, really informative.
Pleasure, mate. Thanks for having me on.
Thanks, mate.
Bye.